Have you ever measured the true weight of your choices? Not in dollars spent, but in the silent erosion of your will? You guard your home against intruders, but what fortress have you built against the weaknesses that enter your mind unchallenged? The subtle desire for comfort that becomes a pact with mediocrity, the quiet waste of energy on things that promise everything and deliver nothing. Look closer at the architecture of your day. You are bleeding power, not money. And the cost is a future you were meant to command, sold for the price of ease. There are unseen laws that govern the flow of respect, of influence, and of wealth. These laws are not taught in schools or debated in the forums of the masses. They are etched into the very fabric of reality, visible only to those who have trained their perception. This is not about economics, it is about physics of the soul. An undisciplined mind radiates chaos, and chaos repels order, repels wealth. A disciplined mind, however, becomes a center of gravity. It does not chase, it attracts. What you seek is not a strategy, but a fundamental reprogramming of the self. You have been conditioned to see the world as a battlefield for acquisition, a frantic race to gather more. This is a profound error. The true war is fought on the silent terrain of your own inner world, a war of attrition against impulse, a quiet insurrection against the noise of the external. Wealth is not a prize you win. It is a consequence of who you become. It is the inevitable outcome of a mind that has achieved dominion over itself, a mind that can stand unmoved in the center of any storm, financial or otherwise, and command the outcome through sheer force of internal order. Today, we will not speak of what to do, but of how to be. We will deconstruct the 5 principles of an unbreakable financial character, the pillars upon which a life of silent power is built. Each principle is a mirror, designed to show you not what you lack, but what you have failed to master within yourself. This is not a list of tips, it is a code that, once understood, makes external chaos irrelevant. It transforms every financial decision from a mundane transaction into a deliberate act of self-creation. Forget the question of how to earn more. That is the language of the servant asking for a larger cage. The only question that holds weight, the only one that truly matters on the path to sovereignty, is this: who must I become to deserve the freedom I seek? The answer lies not in the world, but in the redesign of your mind. Let us begin. Here begins the first law, the foundation of the unshakable mind. It is the recognition of the frontier, the sharp, immutable line between what is yours to command and what is not. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, these are your domain. The market's volatility, the opinions of others, the unpredictable turns of fortune, these are the weather, the storm you must sail through but can never control. To confuse one for the other is the very definition of slavery. It is to give the keys to your inner citadel to the chaos of the outside world. You watch the numbers rise and fall, and you call this vigilance, but it is not. It is a form of prayer to a God that does not listen, a surrender of your tranquility to external symbols. Your focus is misplaced. The real ledger is internal. Track not the currency in your account, but the discipline in your choices. Measure not the return on investment, but the return to reason after a moment of panic or greed. This is the only wealth that cannot be taken from you. Every news alert, every market prediction, every whisper of a shortcut is a siren's call, promising power while demanding your peace. The noise is a weapon designed to keep you reactive, impulsive, and weak. True power is found not in reacting faster, but in cultivating the stillness to not react at all. It is the silence between the notes that makes the music. It is the deliberate pause before action that separates the master from the amateur. The undisciplined mind is a marketplace of competing desires, each shouting for attention, each promising a fleeting satisfaction. Your task is to become the silent observer of this chaos, not its participant. To watch the impulse for a trivial purchase arise and to let it pass, like a cloud across the sky. This is not an act of deprivation. It is a declaration of freedom, a quiet statement that you are the master of your inner world, not its servant. This is the first gate. Walking through it means renouncing the illusion that you can control the external. You must abandon the hope for a perfect outcome and instead forge a perfect will. A will that is indifferent to praise or blame, to profit or loss. A will that finds its victory not in accumulation, but in its own unwavering consistency. You are not managing money. You are managing your response to the idea of money. It is an energy, a current that flows through your life. You can either be a dam, strong and deliberate, directing its power with purpose, or you can be a broken vessel, cracked by anxiety and leaking potential with every impulsive choice. The choice is yours, in this moment and the next. This control is not a rigid, brittle thing. It is a fluid, resilient strength, like that of a great tree that bends in the storm, but whose roots hold firm. Your principles are your roots. The deeper they go, the taller you can grow, unshaken by the winds of fortune that topple those with shallow foundations. Look at the patterns of your week. Where did you trade your tranquility for a triviality? Where did your focus break? This is your training ground. Each moment of choice is an opportunity to strengthen the muscle of your will. The path to financial invulnerability is paved not with gold, but with deliberate, disciplined decisions. Now we approach the second law, the deliberate embrace of hardship. The modern world is a conspiracy against your resilience, a carefully constructed environment of comfort designed to soften your will and make you dependent. It sells you convenience, and in exchange, it takes your strength. To reclaim that strength, you must intentionally walk the path of discomfort. You must prove to yourself regularly that you are the master of your appetites, not the other way around. This is not a call to needless suffering. It is a call to strategic training. To fast when you could feast, to walk when you could ride, to choose the simple, challenging path over the easy, cluttered one. Each act of voluntary discomfort is a deposit into your account of inner fortitude. You are teaching your body, and more importantly your mind, that your well-being is not dependent on external conditions. Consider the fear that governs so many financial decisions, the fear of loss. It is a ghost, a phantom that paralyzes you. The Stoic antidote is to invite the ghost in for dinner, to spend a day imagining you have lost it all, not to wallow in despair, but to calmly map the path back, to see with clarity that your skills, your character, your reason, these are your true assets, and they cannot be liquidated. This practice, this negative visualization, is not pessimism. It is the ultimate form of optimism. It is the confidence of the warrior who has already faced the worst in his mind and knows he can endure it. When you have confronted the specter of loss and seen that your true self remains intact, the fear loses its power. You begin to operate from a place of courage, not anxiety. The man who has never been hungry does not appreciate a simple meal. The man who has never been cold does not appreciate warmth. The man who has never faced his fear of poverty is forever its slave. By choosing to temporarily renounce comfort, you purchase an appreciation for what you have that no amount of money can buy. You discover that the baseline for your happiness is far lower and far more stable than you were led to believe. This is the source of silent wealth. It is the freedom from wanting more. When you have mastered your desires, you are richer than any king who is a slave to his. The world continues its frantic chase for the next thing, the next upgrade, the next level of comfort. You, however, have found the exit. You have discovered that true abundance is not having everything, but being content with what is essential. Your comfort has become your cage, a beautiful prison of your own making. The bars are forged from convenience, the locks from a fear of doing without. Only you have the key. Each small act of self-discipline, of choosing the harder path, is a filing away at those bars. It is a slow, deliberate act of escape into genuine freedom. I invite you to share in the comments. What is the one comfort you cling to, the one whose absence you fear? Acknowledge it, see it for the chain it has become. This is the first step toward breaking it. Your confession is not a sign of weakness, but the first act of a rebellion against it. The third law requires an ascent. It is the practice of seeing from above. You are trapped in the labyrinth of your daily concerns, bills, debts, investments, desires. The walls are high and your vision is limited. You mistake the urgency of the immediate for the importance of the ultimate. From this perspective, every small loss feels like a catastrophe, every gain a fleeting salvation. This is the perspective of the insect, not the eagle. To achieve mastery, you must learn to leave the labyrinth, to rise above it and see the whole map of your life and the even larger map of time itself. Imagine floating above your own body, seeing your life as a single short thread in a vast ancient tapestry. See the empires that have risen and fallen, the fortunes made and lost, the anxieties that felt like the end of the world, now turned to dust and forgotten. From this vantage point, what is the nature of your financial anxiety? How small and temporary it appears. It is a storm in a teacup, a ripple in an ocean. This perspective does not invalidate your struggles, but it reframes them. It drains them of their power to terrorize you. It grants you the calm to act with reason and precision, rather than reacting with fear. The things you crave, the new car, the larger house, the status symbols, what are they? Seen from this height, they are children's toys, trinkets left on the shore, destined to be washed away by the next tide. Your attachment to them is the source of your suffering. The desperate chase weakens you, distracts you from the real work, the cultivation of your character, the one possession you can take with you when you leave this world. This is not an exercise in detachment for its own sake. It is a tool for radical focus. When you see the transience of all material things, you are freed to invest in the eternal, virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. Your financial decisions are no longer driven by a desire to impress a world that is not paying attention. Instead, they become expressions of your deepest values. You fund your freedom, not your appetites. Every time you feel the grip of greed or the sting of financial fear, perform this exercise. Close your eyes, ascend, look down upon the frantic, scrambling world, see yourself within it. Then make your decision not as the participant in the chaos, but as the serene observer. You will find that the wisest choice is almost always the calmest one. This perspective reveals a profound truth. Your net worth is not a number in a bank account. It is the quality of your thoughts, the strength of your relationships, the resilience of your spirit. This is the wealth that compounds over a lifetime, that pays dividends in tranquility, and that can never be lost in a market crash. It is the only balance sheet that truly matters. You are the architect of your own perception. You can choose to live in the basement of your anxieties, or you can choose to live on the rooftop with a clear view of the horizon. The choice requires no money, only courage. The courage to zoom out, to see the bigger picture, and to act in accordance with that vast and silent wisdom. The fourth law is the most sobering and the most powerful. It is the constant awareness of your own mortality. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. This is not a morbid thought. It is the ultimate tool for clarification. The finite nature of your time is what gives it value. To spend it, or the money that represents it, on things that do not align with your deepest purpose is the greatest of all thefts. A theft you commit against yourself. Place every financial decision against the backdrop of your final breath. This object you desire, this comfort you seek, this status you crave, will it matter on your deathbed? Will it have contributed to a life of virtue, purpose, and meaning? Or will it be seen for what it is, a distraction, a brief anesthetic to numb the quiet desperation of a life unlived? This awareness is a blade that cuts through the fat of your life, trimming away all that is non-essential. The endless scrolling, the mindless consumption, the chasing of approval, all of it is revealed as a tragic waste of a finite resource. When your time is seen as the ultimate currency, you become ruthless in its allocation. You stop spending it on things that do not enrich your soul. Money is crystallized time and energy. When you waste money, you are not just losing purchasing power, you are throwing away hours of your life. You are taking a piece of your finite existence and setting it on fire for a moment of fleeting pleasure. Let this understanding sink deep into your bones. Let it instill in you a profound respect for every dollar you earn and every hour you live. The fear of death is intertwined with the fear of not having lived. The man who is living a life of purpose does not fear the end. He is too busy building his legacy. A legacy not of monuments or fortunes, but of character, of wisdom passed on, of a life well lived. Your financial strategy should be a blueprint for this legacy. Every dollar a brick, every investment a pillar in the temple of your life's work. This is the antidote to greed. Greed is the belief that you have infinite time to enjoy infinite things. Mortality reveals this to be a childish fantasy. With limited time, your choices become critical. You shift from a mindset of accumulation to one of allocation. You no longer ask, "How much can I get?" You begin to ask, "What is the highest and best use of the resources I have?" Let this principle be your silent advisor. Before you buy, before you invest, before you commit your time, ask, "Is this worthy of a piece of my life?" This single question has the power to radically transform your financial reality. It will dissolve your trivial desires and ignite a passion for meaningful pursuits. It will make you rich in a way that no amount of money can. Where has silence taught you more than words recently? For many, the contemplation of this final silence is the greatest teacher of all. It speaks one truth: live with virtue, act with purpose, for the clock is always ticking. Let this truth guide your hand as you shape your financial destiny. The fifth law is the capstone, the unifying principle that locks all others into place. It is the concept of virtue as the sole good. The Stoics understood a truth that our modern world has desperately tried to forget. The quality of your life is determined not by what you have, but by who you are. Wealth, health, reputation, these are preferred indifference. They are preferable to have, but they have no bearing on your worth as a human being. Your character is the only thing that is truly your own. This is the most radical and liberating financial principle you will ever encounter. It means that your inner state, your tranquility, and your moral worth are completely independent of your bank account. You can be virtuous and serene in poverty, and you can be vicious and miserable in abundance. The goal is not to become a rich man, but to become a good man. If wealth follows, it is merely a convenient tool for the expression of that good character. With this understanding, you stop chasing wealth as an end in itself. The desperation dissolves. The anxiety about making it vanishes. You realize that you have already made it the moment you commit to a life of reason, discipline, and virtue. Your financial journey is no longer a frantic scramble for security, but a calm, deliberate practice ground for your philosophy. Every budget is a test of your discipline. Every investment is a test of your foresight. Every loss is a test of your resilience. This is what it means to love your fate. Amor fati. It is to accept every outcome, gain or loss, with equanimity, knowing that the event itself is neutral. It is your judgment about the event that creates suffering or peace. Did you lose money on an investment? The event is a number changing on a screen. The opportunity is to practice resilience, to learn from the mistake, and to act with virtue in the face of adversity. This is a victory that no market crash can take from you. The world will tell you that your value is a function of your possessions. This is a lie designed to sell you things you do not need, to keep you running on a treadmill of desire and dissatisfaction. The Stoic truth is that your value is a function of your choices. In every moment, you have the opportunity to choose courage over fear, discipline over impulse, wisdom over ignorance. This power is absolute and can never be diminished by external circumstances. When virtue is your highest goal, your relationship with money is purified. It ceases to be a source of ego or anxiety. It becomes a simple tool, like a hammer or a shovel, to be used skillfully and for a noble purpose. You use it to provide for your family, to support your community, to buy back your time, the ultimate asset, so that you may dedicate more of it to the pursuit of wisdom. This is the final fortress. When your sense of self is anchored in your character, you are invulnerable. The tides of fortune can rise and fall, but your foundation is on solid rock. You possess a wealth that is intrinsic, portable, and eternal. You have solved the game of money by realizing that the only way to truly win is to play for a different prize. Think of the person you admire most for their character. What qualities do they possess? Courage, discipline, resilience, wisdom. Now understand this. These qualities are available to you right now for free. This is the ultimate arbitrage opportunity. The world is chasing paper, while the real treasure lies within. You have only to claim it. The sixth principle is not a new law, but a synthesis of the others in action. It is the practice of right action, of aligning your daily habits with your highest philosophy. A philosophy that is not lived is mere sophistry, a collection of pleasing words with no substance. Your principles must be forged in the fire of your everyday routine. Your budget is a philosophical document. Your investment portfolio is a testament to your long-term thinking. Your refusal of a trivial purchase is a vote for your future self. Consider the concept of invisible currencies. You trade them every day. The currency of attention, of focus, of time, of willpower. These are far more valuable than any fiat money, yet you spend them recklessly. You allow your attention to be stolen by digital distractions, your focus to be shattered by notifications, your willpower to be drained by trivial decisions. A true master of wealth is first a master of these invisible currencies. Guard your focus as you would guard a vault of gold. It is the raw material from which a life of purpose is built. Practice single tasking, create blocks of deep work, cultivate silence. In that silence, you will hear the whisper of wisdom that is drowned out by the noise of the modern world. This is where you will find your best ideas, your clearest insights, and your unwavering resolve. Your habits are the interest that compounds into character. A small daily act of discipline, getting up on time, reading a page of philosophy, choosing a healthy meal seems insignificant in the moment. But over time, these small acts build upon one another, creating a momentum that is unstoppable. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. The marketplace wants you to be a consumer, a passive recipient of its offerings. The Stoic path is that of the creator, the producer, the actor. Do not just consume content, create value. Do not just spend money, invest in skills. Do not just follow trends, follow your principles. This shift from a consumptive to a creative mindset is the shift from financial dependence to financial sovereignty. This requires you to become a student for life, to be humble enough to know that you do not know, to constantly seek wisdom, whether from ancient books or modern mentors. Your capacity to learn is your greatest financial asset. It is the one investment that guarantees a return, for it pays its dividends directly into the quality of your mind and the effectiveness of your actions. Examine your daily routine. Is it the routine of the person you wish to become? Is it designed with intention, or is it a collection of accidental habits? Is it moving you closer to your goals, or is it keeping you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity? Be ruthless in this assessment. Prune what is weak. Cultivate what is strong. Your routine is the battlefield where your war for freedom is won or lost each day. What is one routine in your life that no longer serves your highest self? What is the one habit that acts as an anchor holding you back? Acknowledging it is the first step. Replacing it is the act of a sovereign mind. This is the practical daily work of building a life of meaning and a fortune worthy of it. The seventh law concerns our relationship with others. It is the principle of the human hive, the understanding that we are social creatures designed for cooperation. An undisciplined financial life creates chaos not only for ourselves, but for those who depend on us. A disciplined financial life creates a zone of stability, a platform from which we can not only thrive, but also serve others effectively. True wealth is not a fortress to hide in. It is a harbor from which to launch ships of contribution. This means moving beyond the selfish pursuit of riches and seeing your financial strength as a tool for the common good. This is not about blind charity, but about strategic contribution. Supporting your family, creating jobs through enterprise, funding projects that align with your values, mentoring others on the path. This is how personal wealth is transmuted into communal value. Beware of the twin poisons of envy and arrogance. Envy of those who have more is a confession of your own insecurity, a sign that you are still measuring your worth by an external scale. Arrogance toward those who have less is a failure of empathy, a forgetting that fortune is fickle and that all human beings are fighting a hard battle. The Stoic walks the middle path of quiet confidence and humble compassion. Your interactions are a financial transaction of a higher order. Are you adding value to the people you meet? Are you offering them your presence, your wisdom, your integrity, or are you seeking to extract something from them? A person of true worth gives more than they take, knowing that the goodwill and respect they earn is a form of capital more stable than any currency. This is the meaning of a good reputation. It is not about being liked, but about being trusted. Trust is the lubricant of all economic and social interaction. It is built in drops and lost in buckets. Guard your integrity as your most precious asset. Let your word be your bond. Fulfill your obligations. Act with justice, even when it is not to your immediate advantage. Over the long term, a reputation for integrity is a magnet for opportunity. This also means choosing your circle wisely. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle is filled with complainers, cynics, and impulse spenders, their habits will inevitably infect you. If your circle is filled with disciplined, ambitious, and virtuous individuals, their standards will elevate you. The quality of your relationships is a leading indicator of the quality of your life and your finances. Do not mistake this for transactional networking. This is about building genuine bonds based on mutual respect and shared values. It is about creating a personal mastermind, a council of advisors who will hold you to a higher standard and support you in your growth. This is a form of wealth that money cannot buy and misfortune cannot take away. The ultimate test of your financial mastery is not how you handle prosperity, but how you handle adversity as a community. When you have built a network of trusted allies, you are part of a larger organism that is far more resilient than any single individual. You have woven a safety net of human connection that is stronger than any insurance policy. This is the wealth of the wise. Finally, the 8th law. The culmination of this journey. It is the realization that financial discipline is not the goal. It is merely the training ground. The purpose of forging an unbreakable will and a stable financial life is not to sit atop a pile of assets. The purpose is freedom, not the shallow freedom to buy more things, but the profound freedom to live in accordance with your nature, to pursue your calling, and to be a force for good in the world. This is the ultimate return on your investment of discipline. It is the purchase of your time, time to think, time to read, time to be with your loved ones, time to work on projects that ignite your soul, regardless of their commercial viability. It is the freedom from the quiet desperation that haunts those who have traded their life for a living. With this freedom comes a responsibility. It is the responsibility to live a life that justifies the discipline it took to create it. To not squander your hard-won freedom on trivialities and distractions. It is the responsibility to continue to grow, to learn, to serve, and to push the boundaries of your own potential. The end of the financial struggle is the beginning of the real work. This is the great paradox of Stoic wealth. The less you need, the more you have. The less you are attached to outcomes, the more freely and effectively you can act. The more you focus on your own character, the more the world seems to conspire to bring you what you need. You solve the problem of money by making it no longer the problem. The journey we have taken through these laws is not a linear path with a final destination. It is a spiral, a loop that you will walk again and again, each time with deeper understanding. You will falter, you will forget. Impulse will rear its head. The noise of the world will try to pull you back into the chaos. This is not failure. It is simply the nature of the practice. Your task is to simply return to the principles, to return to the breath, to return to the present moment, to remember the frontier between what you control and what you do not, to remember the shortness of your life, to remember that your character is your destiny. This act of returning, of recommitting, is where true strength is built. This is not a system for getting rich quick. It is a system for becoming invincible. It is the art of building an inner citadel so strong that no external storm can breach its walls. The world can take your job, your house, your money, but it can never take your virtue, your reason, or your will. This is the true meaning of wealth. As we close this part of our discussion, reflect on this. What is the one principle that resonated most deeply with you? The one that exposed a weakness or illuminated a path forward? Let your answer in the comments not be for others, but for yourself. A declaration of intent, a first step on the path of conscious, deliberate action, the path of the Stoic master. The words are now ending, but the work is just beginning. What has been spoken here is not a lesson to be memorized, but a resonance to be felt in the quiet moments of your day. You have been led to the door of your own inner citadel. Only you can choose to walk through it and inhabit the silent throne of your own mind. This is not a conclusion. It is an invitation to let the silence that follows these words be the most powerful teacher of all. The fortress you were taught to build was never made of stone or steel. It is a space carved out by reason, a stillness that no external chaos can penetrate. You will feel the old impulses return, the whispers of the marketplace, the pull of trivial desires. Do not fight them. Simply observe them from the high walls of your newfound peace and watch them dissolve against the strength of a will that has chosen itself over the world. The coins that once weighed you down with anxiety are now seen for what they are, mere tokens. The invisible currencies of focus, of time, of virtue. These are your true treasures. And the greatest wealth you have discovered is an empty vault, one that no longer needs to be filled with things, for it is already overflowing with the freedom that comes from wanting nothing that is not in your control. The fire of desire no longer consumes. It is now a controlled flame that simply illuminates the path. And so a question will now live within you, a quiet companion for your journey forward. It is not a problem to be solved, but a space to be inhabited. When the world presents its temptations and the ghost of your old self returns to bargain for your peace, you will ask it, what still has power over you when you have already found everything you need in the silence? If this journey has stirred something within you, a recognition, a remembrance of a strength you had forgotten, then your engagement here is not an algorithm's plea, but an act of purpose. Your decision to subscribe is a commitment to your own path. Sharing this is an offering of light to others walking in the dark, and your comment is a testament, a public record of your first day as the conscious architect of your own soul. Let your actions be the consequence of your transformation, for in the end, all great truths are simple, and this one is the most fundamental of all. The world is not changed by the men who move mountains, but by the men who have learned to stand still within themselves. Master the self, and the world will follow.